Welcome, my sunshine yogis. Today I'm bringing you a shorter practice that's perfect for an evening wind down or something to do before bedtime. It's just a series of gentle poses that kind of hit all the right places, good, relaxing stretches to help you wind down and just wash off the day. No props are required. We're just going to meet on our mat. Blue is already there. He's starting his evening wind down. This may be a practice you could also do in bed, depending on how firm your mattress is and how flexible and adaptable you are. So consider that. And we'll go ahead and start on all fours, jumping right into the practice. We'll come into a tabletop position. So you'll stack your knees underneath your hips. And bring your wrist creases parallel to the top edge of your mat and fan your palms open nice and wide, stacking those wrists underneath your shoulders. We'll start with some gentle cow and cat to just release any tension in the spine. So as you breathe in, just soften your belly down towards the floor, pull your heart forward and lift your tailbone and the crown of the head high. As you exhale, start to initiate the move from the tailbone, tucking it under, beginning to round as you press into your hands, pulling your chin towards your chest. Here you should feel your shoulder blades just spread apart on your back. Maybe close the eyes as you inhale now. The tailbone begins to lift. The rib cage softens to the floor. The heart pulls forward. Feel your shoulder blades try to meet on your back. On your exhale, nice and smooth, move with the breath as you press the earth away, tucking and rounding. Keeping the eyes closed, let's move through a few more rounds of this. Just feeling the articulation of the spine and the tilt of the hips with each inhale and exhale. Let your breath carry you through the pose. The breath initiates the movement, and the movement follows the breath. Good. Once you complete one more round, pulling the heart through for your cow pose, exhaling and rounding for your cat pose, come back to a neutral spine. Continue to keep your hips and your knees stacked, and begin to walk your hands forward so that you can lower your chest down, bringing your heart space between your arms, letting the forehead drop to the floor if you can, and keeping those hips nice and high. This is AHHHHHH, heart opening pose or puppy pose. A really lovely stretch for the shoulders and for the back. Keep breathing, nice even breaths here. And feel free to open your mouth for an exhale. Sometimes that's the best way to let some of that extra tension go. Now lift your chest up just enough so that you can thread your right arm through and over to the left. So you're going to land down onto your shoulder and the side of your head. Keep stretching your left fingertips forward and keep pulling your left hip crease back. This is a really nice gentle twist and a nice shoulder opener, going a little bit deeper here. Roll onto that right shoulder head as much as you can and let the weight of your body help to open up the muscles there. One more breath in. On the exhale, you'll start to unwind, just bringing that right arm forward and switching now the left arm to thread over to the right side. Stretch your right fingertips forward and gently tug your right sit bone and hip crease back. You're landing on that left shoulder head, the left ear and temple and cheek to the mat, turning to the right. Leaning onto that left shoulder, the weight of the body, helping to stretch out the fascia any tight musculature around the shoulder. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale it out. Sink into it a little more. Good, and then begin to unwind, stretching that left arm forward. Now sink your hips back towards your heels. Let's find a child's pose. Drop your elbows down, drop your forehead down. Maybe let your rib cage rest on your thighs. And breathe here into your back body. Just feeling the spine relaxing. The tops of the feet and the ankles releasing. Soften your shoulders, soften any tension in the neck. If it feels good to maybe rock your torso side to side and just gently roll on the crown or on the third eye, the forehead, feel free to add that gentle movement. Good, and then sweep your arms alongside of you and take your hands to reach for your heels. Go ahead and cup your heels. Lift your head up and bring your nose between your knees and point the crown of the head down to the mat. From here, we're going to lift our hips high, holding on to our heels. We'll stretch out our spine and our neck in rabbit pose. Be gentle here. You're not crushing the crown of the head down. We're lifting the hips, finding some traction as we pull on our heels, rounding our back, feeling the stretch in the back of the hips, the glutes, the shoulders. One more breath in. And on the exhale, slowly round yourself up, releasing your hips to your heels. Give your shoulders a couple of good circling out rolls. Just releasing any tightness there. You might hear a click or two. Reverse the direction. And remember to breathe with ease, right? And move with ease. There's no rushing in this kind of winding down practice. We really want to invite in some relaxation, some slowness, and some compassion for how our body feels at the end of the day. And it might be a little stiff, it might be a little cranky, so we go with ease. Back to our tabletop position, stacking the wrists and the shoulders. We'll stretch our right leg back. So you're gonna go ahead and just bring the toes to the floor, maybe rock forward and back a little bit, stretching out the ankle, maybe hear a little pop or release like I just did. Good, beautiful. And then press the heel away, get long. And I'm gonna flip around here so you can see where we're going. We're gonna pick up that right leg and sweep it out to the right, about 90 degrees. Bring the entire foot to the mat. So you're just gonna press the sole of the foot down and kind of ground through the outer edge of your foot. Press into it, feel a little connection, a little engagement in the inner leg line. Walk the hands forward of the shoulders and then begin to shift your hips back. Just once more here, lowering the chest down between the arms, pressing into that foot and feeling a great stretch in the hips and the inner groin, inner leg. Nice even breaths here, in and out. Good, and bringing yourself back upright, shoulders and wrists stacked once more. You're gonna swing your leg back and then forward to step that right foot between your hands. Maybe wiggle the back knee back just a little bit, coming into your kneeling lunge. We're going to pull the hips forward and down, sinking into this pose as our heart lifts. A couple of options here. You can stay right here, really grounding those hips down, feeling that deep stretch, or perhaps bringing both hands to the top of your right thigh. Kind of stack them up here and see if you can just press your arms to straight, pulling your chest off and away from your thigh. Finding a little space here as we deepen the stretch. Let your shoulders relax, let your gaze relax, and soften your jaw. Stay in that relaxing mindset here. Another option for the arms would be to take them back behind you if you like, a shoulder and chest opener, and maybe just stretch the knuckles to the floor as you wrap your shoulder blades onto your back. Nice and easy here. Really move with your breath. Good, and then we'll release the hands and we're gonna pivot about a quarter turn to the open side. So walk your hands to the left. You're going to take your left toes back behind you. You're gonna stretch that right leg to straight. So you can see my left knee and hip are stacked. My right leg is extended. We're gonna lift up coming into gate pose here. Bring your arms overhead. And as you do so, really ground into that right outer foot. You should feel a good stretch on the outer part of your leg and inner leg. Release the right arm down and lift the left arm up and out so that you start to feel this beautiful stretch along the left side of your body. Relax your head and neck. Breathe into the space that you can create through breath and focus and intention. Opening up the left side body. Breathing in, breathing out. Beautiful. Now turn another quarter turn and cartwheel the hands down. We're going to pivot onto the ball of our back foot and slide our left knee to the outer edge of our mat towards our left wrist, setting up for pigeon pose. We'll walk our back leg back so that it's nice and extended and long. You'll come up onto your finger pads to square your hips and your chest. Stay lifted here just for a moment or two. Maybe adjust that front shin. See if you can bring it towards the top of your mat a little more, as long as your left knee is not feeling tweaked or compromised in any way. Breathe in. And as you feel ready, we can lower down onto a pillow if you have it, a block, forearms, going a little bit deeper into this delicious hip opening pose. There is lots going on here, particularly in that left hip, really feeling a lot of external rotation, breathing into that. The right hip is opening as well. If you take your awareness to the front of the hip flexor, and try to let it go soft, breathing some spaciousness into that big working muscle, the psoas muscle, deep within us, the muscle that connects the lower body to the upper body. That's a lot of work. You are welcome to stay in any one of these poses for any length of time that suits you and that allows you to really let go. When you're ready to rise, press into your hands and lift your chest and roll off onto that left sit bone. We'll sweep the right leg forward, keeping the left knee bent, coming into a half butterfly position. Turn your chest and your torso towards your extended leg and flex the right toes. Once you've framed out that extended leg, take an inhale to lift your chest. And as you exhale, we're going to walk the hands forward any amount, grabbing on either to toes or ankle or shin. We'll take a little turn and a twist at the same time we fold. So plenty going on here. This is a really nice place to kind of focus your breath on your low back, breathing into that lower side, that left side, excuse me, as you fold forward. Close the eyes, connect with your breath. Let each inhale fill you with oxygen. Let each exhale release you of any tension. Filling up on the inhale, releasing on the exhale. And remembering that this is not a competition. There's no particular way the pose has to look. It simply has to feel good and serve you in the moment. Good. We'll come up. Bring your left hand to the outside of your left hip. This is one of my favorite poses, a counter pose here. We'll come into stargazer. So sweep that right arm overhead. You're coming up onto the left shin as your right leg stays extended. Point the toes away. Press your hips forward and stretch out your right side. Let your head relax here. Let it go. Breathe in. Breathe out with a big sigh. Good. And then lower your sit bones down. And let's take that sequence on the left side. So coming back into your tabletop position, maybe I'll turn forward. Well, actually, I'll turn to the side. We'll take that left leg back. Bring the toes to the floor, mattress or mat, wherever you are, and just simply rock forward and back. Getting a nice little massage in your ankle, little stretch to the hamstring. Press back through the heel as you stay stationary. And then pick up the foot and swing it out to the left about 90 degrees. So you want your toe tips in line with your hip. We continue to stay in that stacked position, and we ground the outer edge of that left foot. Walk your hands about a palm print or so forward of the hips, and then actively press them back as you stay grounding in that left foot. Try to relax your upper body. Feel the deep stretch in your left inner groin and inner leg line. Outer hip, really nice here. Breathing in, breathing out. Good, bringing yourself back up to that tabletop position. We'll swing the right or the left leg forward up between our hands, bringing yourself into that lunge position as you walk your back knee back. Keeping that left ankle and knee stacked here, maybe pausing to take a few breaths just here, working on the melting sensation of the hips. We want to draw them down and forward, keeping them low as your heart stays lifted. And not forcing anything, but again, just working with breath, working with gravity. That can also help us to release the tightness. And keep your jaw soft at all times, especially while we work on the hips. Maybe you bring both hands to stack on top of that left thigh. Try to press your arms to straight as you pull your rib cage and belly away from your thigh. Opening up the chest, opening up the hips. You will feel this. Feels great. But stay at whatever degree or level feels right for you. Maybe if you enjoy that chest opener, sweep the hands back behind you. Try to take the opposite grip with the opposite thumb on top and just pull the knuckles down and lift the chest, squeezing your shoulder blades on to your back. Breathe in and breathe out. Beautiful. Releasing the hands inside of that left leg. We're going to walk them now over to the right as you pivot the right knee and foot to stack, and we extend the left leg long. Once you find your alignment, bring yourself upright, taking the arms overhead. Press actively into the outer edge of that left foot and feel the engagement. On an exhale, let the left arm release and the right arm reaches up and over for a nice side stretch here. Ground through your foundations. Breathe into the ribs. Find your connection as you use your breath to open your body. One more breath in here. As you exhale, we're going to cartwheel down a quarter turn as we pivot towards the end of our mat. Come onto the ball of your left foot, and you're just going to drop your right knee to the outside of your right wrist, setting up for pigeon on this side. Let the back knee drop down and walk the back foot away from you. Maybe adjust the right shin to come a little closer to the top of the mat. Yogi's choice here. Do what feels right. Staying upright to square and level out our hips to begin with. Notice how you feel on this side. And then depending on whatever sensation you're feeling, drop down onto forearms, a pillow, or a block to go a little bit deeper here, sinking into pigeon on this side. Really big, strong external rotation in that right hip going on. And a nice opening and release for the left psoas muscle on your left hip flexor. Let your head go here. Notice if you're holding tension or clenching in your jaw. Relax the jaw and notice if you've stopped breathing. Right? We can hold a pose, but we can't hold our breath. We need the breath to be fluid and moving at all times. Keep the thoughts happy, keep the mind-body connection, breathing, feeling, right? Getting right into the sensations. A beautiful way to end your day, if that's when you're practicing, by bringing yourself back home, right? Coming into your body, dropping back into center. We'll rise up, placing the palms onto the mat, rolling off onto that right sit bone this time, and sweeping the left leg out at an angle for our half butterfly on this side. So drawing that right heel in close to the thigh, we'll turn our torso to face our extended leg, pull the toes back, sit up nice and tall. And as you're ready on an exhale, begin to walk the hands forward, coming into a bit of a twist, right? Because our torso is twisting, as well as a forward fold. Take a breath in as you hold on to whatever you're holding on to, lengthen out your spine. As you breathe out, keep the length and fold to whatever degree feels good here. Notice how this side feels different, and just appreciate both sides of the body. We are asymmetrical. Nothing works the same, and that's all good. We just figure it out and work with it. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. Slowly walk your hands in, sit up, and we'll bring that left foot to meet the right, coming into Baddha Konasana. This is a great inner groin and hip opener. You can interlace your hands together and slide them underneath the edges of your feet. Draw the heels in any amount that feels manageable and comfortable for you. And then just begin to draw the knees down. Let gravity work here as well. You don't have to force anything, but just be present for the stretch that you feel. Direct your breath into your inner leg line and your groin. As you begin to open up, Maybe you ask your knees to draw a little bit closer to the mat. Stay upright with your spine. Keep your breath nice and even. So good sometimes to just slow the practice down, take a little bit different pace so that you can really feel into your body. All right, let's gently release that. Take your hands to the outside of your knees and draw them together. We'll swing around so that we can lower down fully onto our backs. So place your hands onto your shins just below your knees. Take a breath in as you pull your spine straight and you roll your shoulders back. A breath out as you tuck and round. Holding on to the shins, extend your arms so that you reach them to straight. Hollow out your navel here. Let's do one more round of that. Pulling yourself upright. Inhale. Shoulder blades slide down your back. Exhale as you tuck and round back. Breathe into the space you're creating between your vertebrae, opening up your spine. Release the hands and roll yourself all the way down with control. Lowering down and then walking those heels in until they are in line with your sit bones. Turn your palms down, arms stretched out alongside of you. Press into your feet, scoop your tailbone underneath you, and then lift your hips, coming into bridge pose. Feel the weight transfer from your feet into your shoulders as you rest on your shoulders. Pull your knees away from your chest and feel your tailbone draw towards the back of your legs. Breathe here. Lift as much as you can. And then on an exhale, roll through your spine from top to bottom. Anchor that sacrum down and pull your knees into your chest. Just take a few little rocks in a circle to massage out your low back and your sacrum, reversing direction. And then bringing the knees to a tabletop position. Glue your legs together, open your arms to a cactus. And on an exhale, we'll allow both the knees to drop over to the right. Taking a spinal twist. Turn your gaze to the left if that's available to you and melt that left shoulder down. The right hand can stack right on top of your stacked legs. And start to feel some lengthening from your left hip to your left shoulder. Maybe you hear a little release in the spine, like a little chiropractic adjustment. Always nice when you get that. Let your eyes close and keep your breath nice and soft here. Breathe in and breathe out. Good, and then releasing, pull yourself back to center. Pause for a moment to just let everything neutralize. And then once you're ready and centered, you'll bring both knees over to the left, dropping them down and turning your gaze to the right, relaxing that right shoulder down as much as possible. Left hand stacking on top of your stacked legs. Breathe here. Really try to emphasize lengthening from your right hip to your right shoulder. Experiencing that kind of wringing out sensation of the spine here. Such a delicious pose and a great way to close out your practice. As you're ready, release. Roll back and onto your backs. Hug your knees into your chest and stay here for any length of time. Sometimes this just feels so good to give yourself a hug, to really come back to that beautiful sense of home and self. And then when you are ready, you can set yourself up for Shavasana or go right to bed. You could be very ready to just go right into bed from here. Whatever works for you, you're welcome to explore it. A few moments in Shavasana, if that suits you, will help ground you even further and bring your mind and body and breath into a state of relaxation. You are welcome to stay here as long as you would like, yogis. It was my honor to bring this little short and relaxing practice to you. I hope that it serves you well going forward. It's so important to take these moments of self-care. So whether you're doing this at night or maybe a little break during the day or first thing in the morning, just to wake the body up gently, it's a great way to practice. So thank you so much for joining me. Keep bringing your beautiful sunshine vibes to the world. We need them. Namaste.